So how about a 71 Challenger RT that was in my backyard, figuratively, and I had no idea that it was there. And now it's going up for sale. So, funny story. My friend Mitch dropped me a line the other day and said, "Hey Ryan, do you want to know about this 71 Challenger RT?" I'm like, "I love 71 Challenger RTs. What's up?" He's like, "There was one not a mile from your house in a backyard that you had no idea, and I just bought it." And I'm like, that sounds crazy talk. And so he arranged for me to come check it out at his friend Greg's place. And Greg was kind enough to allow me the opportunity to come and fully document it. And let me tell you, this thing is rather unique. It is a 1971 Dodge Challenger RT 340 automatic car. It's an early build car in November. And it's got a lot of really interesting little weird quirks. Like, I'm going to do the full walk around, then I'll show the engine, the interior, and some of the more interesting quirks. But as you can see, it's an original 71 hood stripe. And 71 Challengers were the only one, the 71 Challenger RT were the only ones that got the RT in the stripe. Like on 70 Challengers and later, they just were flat black. Also, 71 Challenger RTs had black grills, which this one does have. And as you can see, it was used for racing at one point. But unfortunately, this car sat outside in the previous owner's yard since, like, this sticker right here, this was a Skokie sticker, which is where I live. And that one over there is a Niles sticker, and it's from the early 80s. And he said he parked it, and it never moved from then until my friend bought it and moved it here. And what a car. It's a Citron yellow car, no vinyl top. It's a black interior, automatic on the floor. And I'll show that all. But it's got body color mirror. It's got the side scoops, which 71 Challengers got. And for the dyed-in-the-wool Mopar guys, you're going to be like, oh, that's a 70 scoop, or a 70 spoiler. It's not a 71. And this is a very early, it's a November built car. So it got a lot of weird 70, like leftover 70 parts. And as Mopar guys know, this is an extremely rare original aluminum rear window louver with all the hardware, which is extremely rare. But another weird thing, so we're looking over it, me and my friend Seth. And okay, so it's got the rear valance for the exhaust, which is correct. And it's got the blackout around the taillight surrounds, but the taillight surrounds aren't correct. It should be black like the grille, and this one's argent. So it might be original. We're not 100% sure. This car did have work done on it. But, I mean, why would they change that out? The owner who had it up until recently had it since 1973. And here, real quick. Still has the original locking gas cap. But you can see Mother Time has not been kind to it, or Father Time has not been kind to it. My friend Seth actually went underneath, and he verified that the transmission, which is a 727, is the numbers matching transmission. And the engine that's in it, we actually were told it came from a 70 CUDA. But the original engine, I'll show you, is over there. We'll pull it out, and I'll do a little separate video on it. But it's really rusty. Frame rails are in rough shape. But it's so cool. All right, here's the passenger side, and as you can see, whomever did this interior, they did all the seats, I'll show you the back seat in a second, in a velour. And whoever did it did a really nice job. They followed the original pattern of the seats to a T, and they're actually in pretty good shape. And when the car was in the guy's backyard, which I'll show pictures of at the end, it was underneath a cover, And that's why the dash is still in great shape. It's a non-air conditioned car with a single speaker dash. And then flip open the seat. You can see they had a stereo in it, and I'll show you the tape deck in the dash still, but they redid that entire back seat in the velour, and boy does it smell. And here I'll show you the driver's side. I mean, I wish my door panels were in this kind of condition. The panels are actually perfect. Even the armrests are perfect. And the dash, other than some like I'll show you the screws and the switches that they put in, and the missing floors, but look at this. That is just so neat. Rev Bolt? Street Strip, Flip the Switch by Mallory. You can see it's a rear speaker car. 96,000 original miles. Correct 8 grand tack. And there's the random switches on the center console that we don't know what they go to. But obviously it was probably something racing orientated. And then here, I'll show you real quick. The inner door sticker matches the VIN tag. That also matches the stamping on the cowl, which I'll show in a bit, which matches the stamping on the core support, because e-bikes didn't get the ones in the rear trunk area. And then the fender tag, it's a 2 fender tag car. But I'll show you all that in a second. This is the engine that purportedly came out of the 70 CUDA. And I think my friend Seth was going to check on that. But the numbers matching engine is around the corner, which I'll show in a bit. But and here, I'll show you real quick. My friend Seth pointed this out. This being a November build car, that's a 70 fender. That's a 71 fender. And this is original paint. It's got the correct air cleaner. 2-speed wiper. 3-speed. Is it 3? Oh, you're right. 3-speed. Manual drum brakes. Power steering. And then here, 2 fender tag car. So, a lot of neat stuff. Don't know why it was parked, but it didn't do this car justice. This thing, it sucks. Headers, and so on. And I'll show you what's left of the trunk here in a second. Okay, here's the trunk, and I mean, it isn't the worst I've seen, but it's not exactly great. It's lightened for racing. But my friend Seth pointed out that it's actually got the emissions tube over there, but it's not an emissions car, which is rather odd. But definitely a project. Got the original bracketry for the spoiler, all still there. All right, my friend Seth pointed this out. Looks like they had air shocks at one point, and they really did a number on the mounts. And then it had, you can see here, it had a CB radio, and the mount was right there. Unfortunately, there's also issues like that. And here we just opened the trunk twice. Look at the rust coming out. That's a pile of rust. Oh, so sad. Jeez, there's no torsion in that spring. Oh, I forgot to show the 8-track, or the cassette player. Good old cassette player in there. It doesn't have the pedal dress-up package either. Okay, real quick. Greg here was kind enough to pull the original 340 out for me. And this is the numbers matching 340, which I'll show here in a second. They actually wipe off the numbers so you can clearly see you can clearly see that this engine block matches the Challenger. Yeah, it's a really, really dirty, but I mean, other than obviously it's missing, stuff. I mean, it's the original intake, original block, original heads, and it's so very rare and very cool. And it does go with that car right there. So, very nice. All the pictures that you see here were taken by the new owner, Mitch. This is how he found the car sitting in Niles, Illinois. And it was around the corner from the opening. There was a boat in the way. The boat hadn't moved in years. And all the wheels were locked up. They actually had to take a grinder and break loose the drums. It was a whole event. Unfortunately, I wasn't there. Otherwise, I would have documented it fully. But on a cold January day, they got it out of there, took it to his friend Greg's shop, which wasn't that far. And that's where I came in and was able to see it. This is after they had washed it and cleaned it up a little bit, because you can see that it's still dirty, but not as dirty as it had been sitting in the backyard. You get a real good idea of how rusty the car is when it was sitting, since we're pretty sure 2004 or 2006 was the last time the car actually moved underneath its own power. And ever since then, it was sitting in that backyard, just rotting away, legitimately sinking into the mud. When Seth went underneath the car to check out the VIN number that was on the 340 in the car, the frame rails are in really poor shape. The trunk legitimately is falling apart. The car needs, more than likely, all of the panels replaced. It needs floors, we know. It needs frame rails. You saw from the video the holes in like the in the doors, in the trunk. So this is not a simple project, but it is complete and numbers matching, and it's a rare car. Yeah, it doesn't have the original 340 in it right now, but it is there. It can be rebuilt. Everything that's missing on it is pretty straightforward, like the carburetor and all that. Exhaust manifolds, take off the headers. This car, when put back together, would be phenomenal. I know a few of these cars that exist in this color. My friend Keith Knowles has one. Tim Wilborn used to have one. I think it's over with Mopar 5150 now. But it's really a good-looking car and worthy of restoration. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed the video from my friend's, well, it's actually his garage, but how cool was that 71 Challenger? And, I have a very soft spot for 71 Challengers, and the fact that this one was within 3 miles of my house the entire time blows me away, and just goes to show that even someone as crazy as I am, that there's still stuff right around the corner that to be discovered. And I just got done at the Chicagoland Mopar Connection swap meet that was in Tinley Park, and I thought I'd do my ending part camera in front of this cool little steam locomotive at the train station down the road. Next week's video will be, I think, a one of two part for the 69 Charger RT that I helped dig out of a garage for the first time in 40 years. But if you have any comments or questions, especially the info for the owner of the 71 Challenger is in the description. So it is for sale, as I said. They're looking for, as of right now, $22K. So let me know. I'll be around. Everyone stay safe and keep it on the tracks, I guess.